do not have beer while you're making beer, then the beers will not be good because you haven't paid patronage to the beer gods. I believe the Finnish brewers, it's either Finnish or Norwegians, at the end of the brew they yell very loud. And they say that if you don't do that, then the beer devils will get in and ruin your beer. So it's actually a tradition that when they're making homebrew, they scream really loud at the very end to ward off all the evilness before the beer goes into the ferment. Okay? So, we can do that later before we get done.
I do want to mention that step 9 about going to the fridge to get a beer. I could not get the program to just delete that number, so I had to put something.
That's perfect.
Right.
Yeah, so when you're doing more than just 1 gallon, I've seen, only doing the boil with maybe 2 or 3 gallons of water and then topping it off at the end. Is the benefit of that just so that you're warming and cooling less volume at once?
So Tyler asked a great question, and that's actually the way I used to make beer when I first started. You would use maybe 2 gallons for a 5-gallon batch, and you'd boil everything into 2 gallons. And then what you would do at the very end is you would just add 3 gallons of tap water to bring the temperature down a lot quicker. There are some challenges with that. We used to do that with a lot of the extracts. The higher the gravity is in the wort, so when we go through and we're taking and making the wort, which wort is when you've got your extract in. If it's a higher gravity wort, it will extract out less of the oils from your hops. And so when you do a concentrated boil, it may not be as bitter, so you may have to add more hops in. So that's the other challenge when we move into really high alcohol beers. So some of those 8-9%ers. If you're going for like a double IPA, you may have to add more hops because they won't pull out as much bitterness, and so you have to make some adjustments.